The first principle of justice is to listen to the victim's story. So we want survivors to be able to tell their own stories, not for punishment because of the betraying partner, but because we deserve to be believed, to be heard, to be acknowledged, and we know that telling the truth is the beginning of justice.
If betrayal trauma has touched your life, you're not alone, and healing is possible. This is Betrayal Recovery Radio, the official podcast of the Association of Partners of Sex Addict Trauma Specialists. I'm Dr. Jake Porter, and each week we explore the science, soul, and stories of transformation after betrayal. This podcast is for betrayed partners, for those who've caused harm, and for the professionals walking with them through the healing. Because even in the ashes of betrayal, something beautiful, something strong, something triumphant can rise. Welcome to Betrayal Recovery Radio, Andrea. Welcome back, I should say.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back.
I'm really excited that you're here. I love talking with you. We often speak about how we share a brain or have twin brains. So it's always a fun conversation. And I'm excited you're here because I understand you have a big announcement. Can you let us know?
Yes. Drum roll, please.
You know what? Hey, hold on. This is good. Let's see. Wait. There we go.
Yay, I love it.
Yes, and your announcement.
Yes, I am here to announce Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day.
Yeah. Okay. I know I'm being a little silly with the soundboard here, but no, this is a big deal. You shared this plan with me last week, and you brought me to tears.
I know, that was so touching.
Oh my gosh. Well, I am very excited about this. I feel so honored to get to play any role in this. And I'm happy that we get to announce it here on the APSATS podcast, Betrayal Recovery Radio. So Tell us more about this new day of awareness.
Yes. So this has been something that has been in my heart for years and years and years. And as I typically do, I had this I got to get government approval. I have to, get somebody to sign off on this. And it was no, you can just create a day. And so I am creating Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day because I believe that betrayed partners, deserve a day to be honored, to be seen, to be heard, to be acknowledged, to be celebrated, because we see awareness days with all other sorts of causes. And ours is a big cause and very relevant for our time. Absolutely. We know that intimate partner betrayal happens every day, multiple times a day, and yet we don't talk about it. So I want to change the narrative. That is the tagline for the day, is that we are changing the narrative. We are taking this from the shadows and bringing it into the light. We are empowering partners to share their own stories and more. I'll get into that later.
Yes. Well, and I love that tagline, that idea of changing the narrative, because to me, that is one of the foundation stones, one of the keystones of healing, is that I get to decide what this means for me. Exactly. I get to define what this will mean to me. I will not be defined by it. I will change the narrative. I will make my story about this.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I love it. Okay. I love it. So, but let's go real basic here. Let's start at the beginning, right? Yes. So Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day. What is intimate partner betrayal?
Okay. So I am defining, this is the Andrea Rogers definition.
Okay.
I'm defining intimate partner betrayal as a breach of trust in a committed relationship that violates the safety of the relationship.
Would you just read it again?
Yes.
From the top. It's good.
From the top. Intimate partner betrayal is a breach of trust in a committed relationship that violates the safety of the relationship. It is a form of relational abuse. And I know some people have an aversion to that word. We're not calling anyone abusers, but we are acknowledging that this is a form of relational abuse in which one partner repeatedly violates the trust, the emotional safety, or mutual agreements of a committed relationship through deception, through secrecy, or disloyalty. So this would include sexual infidelity, emotional deception, financial dishonesty, spiritual manipulation, and repeated breaches of trust that result in significant emotional and psychological harm to the betrayed partner.
Okay.
That was a lot.
That was a lot. It's awesome. I made some notes. I want us to break it down a little bit. And I think the fundamental, when I'm talking about this with people, when I'm trying to help people understand betrayal and the traumatic nature of betrayal, what I keep coming back to is that breach of trust that once discovered shatters the sense of safety.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people want to say, they say it's just cheating. Like people get cheated on every day, right? Like move on. And it's like, no, it is disrupting the entire internal world. You said shattering. It is a shattering of a person's whole identity. And I know that sounds dramatic to some people, but any partner will tell you they have a version of who they were before the betrayal, and they have a version of who they are after the betrayal.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm thinking about a couple that I just worked with recently. Spent 2 days with this couple, 2 long days with this couple. And we were going back, we were doing a process. You know this process, Andrea, I call it revamps, where we're going back and we're looking at pieces of the timeline where we're taking little isolated moments of what this betrayed partner knew.
Right.
And that attempt to reconcile that with what they now know. Right. And this woman was talking about this picture from this vacation, about the feeling she has when she sees her dog, about, the certain locations. And what I watched happen before my eyes is she just let out a cascade of the pain and the confusion and the loss. The husband's face, I mean, he was broken in a good and appropriate way. And this is what he said: I didn't see until now how this undermines everything you knew about your life.
Wow.
And that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. I say it's like waking up and finding out you were adopted, right? You spent your whole life thinking, this is my family. These are the people who I came from. This is how I'm connected to them. This is who they are to me, right? And then you wake up and it's like, no, not only do I not come from you or belong to you, right? You hid this part, and I don't know who I am. I don't know who I am to you or who you are to me.
Yeah.
And that's what betrayed partners experience. It's like waking up married to a stranger, but also being a stranger to yourself.
Yes. Yes. And if I can get a little geeky with this, just to help people understand it better, in terms of how we're wired as human beings, our sense of identity is intimately linked to our relational experience and our context in the world. So if the world suddenly shifts, if the world isn't the world I thought it was, and my relationship to you isn't what I thought it was, and you're not who I thought you were, that absolutely changes any degree of certainty about what I feel about myself and think about myself, know about myself. Yeah. And I think it's important also in your definition, you made clear you're not just talking about sexual betrayal here.
No.
So let's go
This,
through those types again. Yeah, all the various
yeah,
types.
I kind of think of this like a nesting doll, those dolls where it's like you have the
Mm-hmm.
big doll and then you open
Mm-hmm.
it up and it's like all
Yeah.
these other dolls in there.
Yes.
We work in the context of the sexual betrayal, but in that sexual betrayal, people are also experiencing emotional betrayal, right? Where you're sharing intimate thoughts and ideas with someone. You're prioritizing your emotional bond with someone else over your bond with me. You're keeping a relationship a secret and
Yeah.
maybe comparing negatively me to someone
Yes.
else.
Yes.
There's the intellectual infidelity, which we don't talk about, the intellectual betrayal, where other people know things about you that I don't know. I remember saying that to my ex-husband. It's like, there's a VIP section of your life and I'm not in it. I'm on the
Ooh.
outside of that watching, at the
Yeah.
club, I'm telling
Yeah.
on myself. You didn't go to the club. I did.
I didn't. Maybe you could take me one day.
But at the
I was
club,
never that cool.
you have the rope and they have to let you in. Not everybody gets in there. And so that intellectual betrayal, financial betrayal, we know if they've been going to strip clubs, prostitutes, massage parlors, affairs, buying gifts, hiding money. Even, these are the types of betrayal we don't talk about often, which is like the technological betrayal, because that's new, right? So you have a smartphone and now suddenly all smartphones are a trigger for me because you did most of your acting out on your phone.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you're using Amazon to look at pictures of women in their underwear instead of shopping. So now me seeing you on an app, even if it's just to shop for things, is triggering to me, texting. You were texting your affair partner. And so that piece of just like how we engage with technology and of course, spiritual betrayal, right? You are a pastor, you were a Bible study leader, you weaponized the Bible, you were in these religious groups. And then just the social betrayal. Some people never cross that line of physical, but they're, they call it a work wife. They have a work wife or a work husband. Maybe they have secret, chat groups that they're in, or going to outings at work to like just be in these social environments. So technically, right, if we just are like black and white, is that betrayal? Well, yes, because when you go back to my definition, what we're talking about is the dishonesty, the secrecy, and the disloyalty.
Right. Right. Because in the definition, I didn't write down this exact phrase, but something about the agreements in the relationship.
That's right. The mutual agreements.
The mutual agreements. And I think one thing that's important here that I often say to folks is both those that were explicitly spoken, like maybe marriage vows, but also those which are assumed.
Right.
Right. I mean, my wife and I, we have agreements that we've never talked about, but I think we're safe in assuming that there are things that we just don't do. We don't do that.
Right. Like, yeah, we don't say, hey, are we only having sex with each other?
Yeah.
No married couple says that.
Right.
But you're right. There is an assumption that when we enter into a relationship and we say vows, that's a part of the system that we're agreeing to enter into.
Yes. And here in case any folks who are on the betraying side are listening to this and you're going, here's the test that I throw out there for those folks. If y'all never really talked about it, so you're not sure if it's an agreement or not, why don't you just ask?
That's right.
And when they go, oh, there's your answer. There's your answer. That means you're hiding this because your partner would not be in agreement with that.
That is exactly right. That's a very smart question, Jake.
Yeah. Well, you're welcome. And a couple other kind of aspects of betrayal, because I've been thinking about this, the multidimensional. I hold up my little black diamond with its multiple facets here, the many facets of betrayal. One is moral, which has some overlap, I think, with spiritual and some of these commitment things, but there's something about like, well, I worked with a couple where they were really big advocates in their community on anti-human trafficking measures. And then she discovers that he's participated in pornography, but also in other forms of acting. I don't want to get real specific here, but that almost certainly helped facilitate or fed into sex trafficking. That's huge.
Yeah.
Well, hello there, listeners. Thank you so much for joining us for this podcast. As you know, this is the official podcast of the Association of Partners of Sex Addict Trauma Specialists. This is an incredible nonprofit that has lots of things going on to fulfill its mission to educate and empower betrayed partners. So let me just let you know a few of these things very briefly. You can find out more about all these things I'm about to mention at APSATS.org. On Friday, August the 1st, from 12 to 1 p.m., there is a 1-hour continuing education event by Casey Allison, an APSATS certified coach, an exponential opportunity supporting perinatal betrayed partners, an incredible opportunity to hear about how to help betrayed partners who are right around that time of birth. Also, on September the 5th, another Friday, another 1-hour opportunity. Jessica Edens will teach how to start and facilitate a successful partners group. Jessica is a board member at APSATS and is also presenting later in the month, beginning September 11th, Betrayed Families, Support for Children and Families Training. This takes place over a few weeks live via Zoom. On Monday, September 22nd, very exciting, that week, the 22nd through the 25th, live online via Zoom, time for people in Australia, New Zealand, Singapore, over there, that part of the world, our foundational training, the multidimensional partner trauma model training. If you have not taken this training and you work with betrayal trauma, you need to get in on this, and especially if you're around that part of the world where this will be during your daylight hours. However, if that's not going to work for you, also very exciting, for the first time in several years, there will be an in-person opportunity to take the multidimensional partner trauma model training. That will be October 22nd through October 25th in person in Seattle, Washington. Find out more about all of these events at APSATS.org. Also there, you can claim a free gift, APSATS.org/podcast, where you can get a free download, Expectations, What Should the Betrayed Partner Expect from the Betrayer in the Therapeutic Process, a free download from Dr. Crystal Hollenbeck. And as always, I like to offer my book for free, Breaking Barriers, Building Bridges, the Couple-Centered Recovery Model for Lasting Connection After Betrayal. You can grab your free copy of my book at drjakeporter.com/breaking barriers. All right, we're going to get back to our episode now, but I do want to say, if you can, please follow us on your favorite podcast platform, or share our episode with others who could benefit from it. That will really help us climb the rankings and get this word out to more people. That's a whole other dimension of betrayal. It's this moral, wait, I thought we had a shared morality.
Right.
And now I feel tainted.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because
because I was connected with you and representing myself in this way, and now I feel like a fraud.
Yeah, exactly. So one more piece of your definition I want to talk about, and you did, make a little note there when you read this part, but that's the part about it being relational abuse. And I do want to unpack that a little bit, because I think it really is important. There's a lot of conversation in our field about this right now, and there are people with some really strong opinions on this. But I love the middle way that you're trying to walk here, of saying we can call something abusive. We don't have to, tiptoe around that term because it is abusive without saying this defines that person as an abuser.
Right.
Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, for me, there's a lot of nuance in that. And I should have pulled up, I have an Andrea Rogers version of abuse as well. But part of that abuse is informed by, again, what agreements did I make? And did I violate those agreements in a way that was excessive? Right?
Right.
It's like, okay, we all tell a lie at some point, but will we say we're liars? No. But when we start to repeatedly get into this pattern of behavior, I'm acting as if I'm that, even though I'm not. Right.
Sure.
So that's why we have to call it abuse, because it is abuse, but we're not saying this is a part of this person's identity. Right. That's not a thread throughout their whole life. Most of the time we go back to childhood and we can see, hey, this person started out a sweet, innocent person. Harm happened to them. And as a way to protect themselves against that harm, they develop into this. And I think the reason it's so touchy is because inherently this person feels awful. Right?
Yes.
To me, that's the difference between an abuser and someone who is abusive. They don't want that label, not as a defense, but because it doesn't resonate with who they really are in their hearts. And we know we all have instances where we act outside of who we really are. So then when you help the person start to heal, when you help them to really step into their true identity and living out of their values and healing the trauma of the past where they're not acting out of that woundedness, suddenly these relational abuse dynamics go away.
Right. Yes, thank you for the way you said that and that distinction. That's how I often explain it as well. Is I'm going to work very differently. If I got two men in front of me, and one of them, let's even take it out of the realm of sexual betrayal. Let's say this one man let's say he's bankrupt and his dad just died and his mom was diagnosed with cancer and his wife is he and his wife are tangled up in a fight and she gets really big and in a moment he shoves her. Well, I want to be super clear. That is not okay.
That's right.
And that is an abusive act.
That's right.
But that guy, if he immediately goes, oh my God, what have I done? Oh, and he's like, I never want to do it, because he sees what he did. Right. That's very different than the guy that shoves and hits and knows good and well what he's doing. And
treats everyone like that in his life, by the way.
Yes. Sure. Yeah. To one degree or another, until he meets a bigger bully. But but that's two very different people, and we're going to have two very different processes of working. And in a similar way, now to bring it back to these more subtle forms of betrayal. Well, subtle is not the right word. It less visual than like shoving or hitting somebody.
Right. See, we were about to say the same thing.
Yeah. Right. There it is. There's that brain.
Yes.
But in my experience, and I think this happened this week with a couple I was working with, when his eyes were open to see that what he was doing was abusive, internally he was like, no. Wow. He's already doing recovery stuff and sober and all this, but it reached a depth of his heart where he's like, no, I do not want to be that man and do that to you. No way. Yeah. So I think it's helpful in the right way to use the term abuse.
For
as long
sure.
as we don't go overboard and start being black and white about it. And
I mean, I grew up in a home where there was lots of yelling, right? Yelling is abusive to children. It harms the children. right? Because it hurts.
Yeah.
So, but would I say like, oh yeah, my mom's an abuser? No. No.
Thank you, because about 2 weekends ago I yelled, and you should have seen poor sweet little MJ curl up into a ball. And I saw that, and I looked at her, and I told her, and I meant it. And I hope by the grace of God, I follow through on it. I will never, ever use that volume with you again. I am so sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. So, all right. So that's what we're talking about here. This is a reality in our world. I mean, my goodness, we're recording this about 2 days into the, what's gone viral now at the Coldplay concert.
Yes. I was like, okay, God's going to just give me a perfect
little
launching pad.
Absolutely. Which, as soon as I saw it, I was like, this is not a joke, people. That was my, I saw the little memes or whatever. I don't know if we can call it a meme yet. It's too new to be memed or whatever it's called now. But the posts about it and the snide remarks and the comments and the little laughing tear things. And I'm like, there's a wife, there are children whose world, I mean, we don't know for sure, but probably just got shattered.
Yep. I actually made a response video saying exactly that, right? The advocate in me wants to say, hey, good that they got caught, but then that quickly changes to, but wait, what's good that they got caught now rolls downhill to all the people involved with them who didn't participate in the fun part of that. They weren't at the concert, right? They weren't having a good time. And now, but they get to experience all the consequences of that.
That's right. That's right. And I'm not trying to pile on anybody, and I know you're not either.
No.
But it's there. It's in our culture. It always has been. Betrayal's always been in the culture, but there's such a people trying to bring such levity to it when we don't know, we don't see the damage that is done. And so I think that leads into my next question for you, which is why an awareness day?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, Jake, we need every day to be Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day, because the impact of the betrayal is lifelong. I don't care whether you stay married, you get divorced, you separate, you move on and marry someone else. Every person who's experienced intimate partner betrayal says that it stays with them forever. I mean, I have people it was 25 years ago, they're remarried, they are happy, but you talk to them about that day, the discovery, the D-Day, and they can be right back there. So I think it's a critical issue. It's a mental and physical health crisis that's being overlooked, and as you said, minimized and normalized. And I think that we need to educate people. We have the resources to do this, right? We are the ones who can say, which is why I made a response video to that. Hey, I know you guys are having fun with this, but let me remind you, this isn't reality TV. This is somebody's real life. I mean, his poor wife had to go deactivate all her social media, like immediately.
Right.
Yeah. Because people were saying, your husband's cheating. And so that really adds, like I said, it was like, okay, this is relevant right now. We have a real example right here of why we need to bring awareness to this, because it's not fun and games. It's not cute. It's not just a blip on the screen. I mean, it's on the internet today. It'll be gone tomorrow, but not for the people who are living the real life experience of this. Yeah. And so the other big, can you tell it's big? The other big part of this for me was inspired by Hamilton. And if you haven't seen the play Hamilton, in the play, he cheats on his wife and, he's being threatened that he's going to be outed. So he decides he's going to out himself. And he writes this document called the Reynolds pamphlet to tell everyone he cheated on his wife. And she says in the song, you told everyone how you invited this person into our bed. And so I'm going to take myself out of this narrative. Right? She doesn't want to be a part of the story anymore. And I think every partner feels like that. I didn't choose this. I don't want this to be a part of my story. But whether you choose it or not, it is. And so later she comes back in a song, and the song is titled, Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story? And she says, I'm putting myself back in the narrative. And that's what I want to empower betrayed partners to do, to put themselves back in the narrative. Because according to Judith Herman, the first principle of justice is to listen to the victim's story. And when we listen to their story from them, we understand what is happening in their world. So we want survivors to be able to tell their own stories, not for punishment because of the betraying partner, but because we deserve to be believed, we deserve to be heard, we deserve to be acknowledged, and we know that telling the truth is the beginning of justice.
Wow. That is so awesome. And and you know this, and many listeners will know this, but some I'm sure don't. And I'm thinking about the therapists out there who aren't betrayal trauma informed. I'm thinking about the pastors and the clergy members, the rabbis, right? The faith leaders who don't understand this, but are often the first place people go, right? I'm thinking about the boss, about the HR person, about the gynecologist, about, all of the people who, man, a little bit of awareness about the reality of betrayal trauma could go a long way to maybe reducing, layering more trauma on top of that, and maybe even giving some support in healing early on.
Yes.
Not joking with the wife who's coming in to get STD tests because she's uncertain. And do you know he did anything? Well, I don't know, but I don't know what I don't know.
That's right.
And I can't tell you how many times I've heard stories from wives who a nurse or a doctor rolled their eyes. She discovered pornography. Well, she doesn't know if that's all there is.
That's right.
Or the pastors, right, who ask the questions that seem to turn it around on the wife. And so that's one of the things I'm so excited about in your vision for this Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day.
I know it's a mouthful.
It is, but it's okay. It says exactly what it needs to say, is that hopefully there will be a snowball effect that, some pastor is going to see this in his Instagram feed. Or probably it's going to be a pastor's wife that sees it in her Instagram feed and shows her husband, and it might change a conversation he has.
Or maybe the wife's the pastor.
Well, or that too. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah. What is your grand vision for this day?
Yeah. I think I told you, I haven't been able to sleep thinking about this, because I imagine communities across the globe of betrayed partners coming together, really feeling empowered, not having to hide in the shadows, but really being able to tell their stories and know that they're going to be seen and heard and supported, really advocating, fighting for those of us who are further along in the journey. Remember what it was like to be at the beginning of the journey. So really coming alongside, just like they do with cancer. I have two sisters diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, And in the MS Society, they have meetings where you can go and get information. They have support groups. They have education. They have a walk to raise money. And those are the kinds of things that I envision, creating a community that is for partners, by partners, right? That this is created by us, for us. Because who are the most resilient people we know? Partners. Who are the best investigators we know? Partners. Who are the most resourceful and just the depth that comes in bearing your soul with another person. And justice. I really want to highlight that justice part. When I start thinking about what's the number one thing I hear from betrayed partners, it's not fair. It's not fair.
Yeah.
So how do we enact some justice that doesn't harm people who want to come forward and tell the truth? Because I think the telling the truth is critical to the healing, right? But that does sort of offer some restitution to the betrayed partner, that they're not having to bear kind of the same consequences as the betraying partner. And right now it's not set up like that. You think about things like counseling, right? What are most partners going to say? Well, he needs it more.
Yep.
He needs it more, right? Where's the justice in that? I think I've told this story before, but one of the counselors recommended that my ex-husband go to this intensive place, inpatient. And I looked it up on the screen and I'm like, so he's going to be doing yoga, horseback riding, art, group therapy. And I said, no. Where's the justice in that? I'm left here with 4 little children. You have wrecked our home, our life, everything, and you get to go paint and do yoga? No, if anybody's going to go paint and do yoga, it's going to be me. You stay here and let me go. Right? So, that's an injustice.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying, so people can say, what are you going to say? They don't need treatment. They do need treatment, but not to the exclusion of
absolutely
the betrayed partner.
I sent an email this week to a betrayed partner who wrote and said they don't have the money for, she asked if we offer scholarships to our Returning to You program, which is for trying to give that for betrayed partners.
Right.
Because when we designed it, now there are some others, which is wonderful. I'm glad that there's choices and options out there. But when we designed it, it was the first one out there, ground up for betrayal trauma, women who experience betrayal trauma. And it is pricey, and we do offer some scholarships. And now I'm going to get a bunch of emails about that. But here's what I said to the woman: we'll do our best to offer you as much of a discount we can. And I think your husband ought to get a second job. I don't think it would be too much for him to drive for Uber or deliver some pizza or work at Lowe's or whatever it is. I think it might be really good for him to put some time and effort and sweat equity into such a good cause.
Love it.
I'm not trying to be heartless here, but my situation's different. I wasn't married when I got into recovery, but I was a pastor. I didn't make tons of money. Okay. I got a second job to help pay for therapy. Yes. So I'm not asking about anybody to do anything I haven't done myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's about justice.
Yeah.
It's justice.
For sure. You broke it. You need to pay for it. Right. Yeah. Those stores used to have those signs that say you break it, you buy it. Right. You are buying back something that you broke.
Right. Yes. Well, I hope this will change the narrative. I do. And I think it can, because I think when I talk to people about this, and I know you've experienced this too, once people think it through, they're like,
Mhm.
yeah, you're right. Right.
Yeah.
And maybe this can plant the seeds for those conversations and give the structure for those conversations to happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now you're also creating a nonprofit along with this awareness day. So tell us about that.
Yeah. So I am creating the Intimate Partner Betrayal Alliance. And while the Awareness Day is for both men and women, the Alliance is for women specifically. And I hope you and I talked about this, right?
Yes.
There's a
Yes.
man out there who's like, hey, well, if they can do it, I can do it too, right?
That's right.
We are not saying don't do that. I'm happy if someone does that. But this is
Mhm.
a place with women supporting women. And we know that there's a lot of power in women coming together in community to support each other, to uplift each other, to encourage each other, to, not have to worry about, because you and I were talking about this Diary of a CEO podcast. Well, there's a
Yeah.
guy on there who said, who is the most dangerous person to a woman? Hands down. And do you know who it is? It is her husband.
Mm. Yeah.
So I know a lot of partners struggle,
Yeah.
especially if you have things like sexual assault in your past, if you have things like um, physical violence. And so sometimes just the presence of a man can make an environment feel unsafe for a betrayed partner. So that's why it is for women. And like I said, it's for partners by partners, because I feel like we're the ones we've been waiting on. Like we're like,
Mm.
why doesn't anybody speak up? Why don't people talk about this? Well, you know what? We can do it. We can do it. We are
Mm.
empowered to do it ourselves. And so the Intimate Partner Betrayal Alliance will be about creating that community, having a space where, if people want to donate, we can use those funds. We always joke about how nobody sends you a meal. Hey,
Right.
sorry, your partner cheated on you, right? But where we can raise funds, where we can send a gift card to somebody, DoorDash,
Yeah.
right? We can provide house cleaning services very practically. There's a lady who goes around in her community and they help new moms like this.
Mm.
I forget
Yes.
what it's called, but it's like she gets all the moms together and they go clean the house of a new mom, somebody who might be struggling with postpartum depression. And I'm like, that's how it should be, that
Yes.
those of us and that's how it is in all the communities, right? The MS Society is led by
Right.
people who have MS. The Cancer Society is led by people who have had cancer. So the Intimate Partner Betrayal Alliance will be led by people who have been intimate betrayed partners.
Yes. And when you were telling me about this the other day, you talked about this term, embers of light.
Yes.
This terminology. So that was really moving to me. Can you unpack that for others? These embers of light. What's that? What's going on there?
Yeah. Well, again, I'm thinking like, okay, Hamilton fans are called Hamil fans. Taylor Swift fans are called Swifties. Beyonce has the Beehive. So what do I think represents partners? And I was, playing around with this, researching. It was like things that came up were like a lotus flower, a butterfly, and none of them were resonating with me. And I don't remember exactly what I put in to search. I think when I was looking up to see, is there any intimate partner betrayal, anything, I was like, something with embers came up. Well,
Hmm.
lo and behold, it's a poem that I wrote.
That's so wild.
I know. In the search is a poem that I wrote in 2020 that I remember now, but at the time
Yeah.
I don't remember having that. But I said I was talking about being a woman and in process, right? And I said, I'm in process, a work in progress. I see glimmers of light, burning embers that remind me of what once was, but I'm not yet born, and there are new things waiting to emerge. So I'm like, embers. I'm like, so I look up the spiritual significance of embers, and this is what brought me to tears.
Mm.
Embers carry a deep symbolism across many cultures, representing resilience, transformation, sacred presence, and hope, especially during or after seasons of destruction, darkness, or loss.
Mm. It's perfect.
It is perfect. It is
Wow.
perfect. So when you think about that, like in terms of betrayal, you think of the sacred spark in you that betrayal couldn't extinguish.
Mm.
And I know somebody's like, oh no, it somebody said this to me the other day. It took my light. And people would say that to me, Jake. They would tell me the light was gone from my eyes. And that would make me so angry, because it was like, how dare you take my light? You know, so I'm gonna fight to get it back. So the spark is still there. The darkness may seem to consume it, but we know there's a scripture that says that's not possible, right? That light is going to shine in the darkness. And it's a symbol too of healing and progress. And then the warmth of a community holding space for each other. And then the light of truth and justice. Like, what does the Statue of Liberty have in her hand? Right? She's got that torch. So where do embers come from? They come from fire. So it's the light of truth and justice glowing through those ashes of betrayal.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And, you know, and it is just such a perfect metaphor. And I hope every partner who is listening to this, I hope that you will take that in and receive that. And I will just say, if you can't hold on to that hope, I will hold on to it. Andrea will hold on to it for you until you are ready for it yourself. Because I know that's true. I know that's true of partners.
You think of those sparklers, you know, on 4th of July. What do? You don't usually go through with a match and light each one. You light one, and then you take that one and you light the other ones. Right? Yeah. And so that's what we want to do. It's like your sparkler may have gone out, but mine's burning. So I can light yours. I can ignite yours. I can give you back your shine, your sparkle. It's not gone.
That's right. That's right. It's not gone. Okay. Now listen, we've been talking for almost 45 minutes here. When is Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day?
That's a great question.
Just so no one misses it.
Yes, that is important. That's the most important thing. It is August 4th. And I'll tell you some significance around August 4th. July 4th is a day in the United States that represents independence, liberty, freedom. And so 1 month from that is August 4th. But this isn't just about Americans, you know. Intimate Partner Betrayal is global. And so when I look up, I'm big into numbers and what numbers mean, right? What does 8 represent? New beginnings. And 4 represents creation. And it also represents like a completeness. And so when we look at creating something new from something old, right, that there's this old thing passing away, your life as you knew it. But in the middle of that is something being born. So August 4th has meaning. It has purpose. And I intentionally separated it from other awareness days around PTSD, mental health, intimate partner violence. Because again, this is something that is so unique And it's something Barb said and continues to say. In any other situation where there's been violence or harm, what do? We get away from that person.
Yeah.
And in
Yeah.
this situation, we're rolling over and looking at them.
Mm.
So there is something unique about that component of the intimate partner betrayal. And so I wanted us to have our own space and day. So August 4th will be the annual Intimate Partner Betrayal Awareness Day.
Sweet. I'm there.
Yes.
Sign me up. Can't wait to support it. How can others support the mission and the vision of this awareness day and this new alliance, this nonprofit that you're launching?
Yeah. So first is you can support us on social media. We'll be Intimate Partner Betrayal. It's already on Instagram. It's on Facebook. I'm getting it set up on TikTok and YouTube. So go follow us, give us a like. We know right now social media is the way that people engage and spread awareness. So do that. You could be a digital ambassador is what I'm calling it, right? When I post, you post. And we just keep reposting because I can't do everything, but together we can get a lot more done than I can get done by myself. So sharing that, sharing your own story if you're comfortable. I'm not trying to put anybody in harm's way. You could change your name and tell the story of somebody you knew, but it could be your story. I'm going to have an awareness kit that people can, get slides, they can get graphics. So you can download that for free if you want to be a part of that. And then the biggest thing is money, right? Unfortunately, everything in our world requires money. And so donating one time or monthly, and I want to give people, I want to make this real doable. So you could do $8.40 one time. You could do $80.40. You could do
Yes.
$84, right? Any combination of the 8 and the 4. You could do it one time. You could do a recurring gift. Again, even partners who don't have a lot, but who have that real spirit of generosity and want to give. If you want to give us $4, $8, we're going to have all of that set up. And then thanks to collaboration with the brilliant Dr. Jake, we came up with the idea for a cookbook because
I cannot wait to
I
help
know.
make this happen.
I know, it's so exciting because we always say, nobody sends us a meal.
Yeah.
And there's something about food that brings people together and really nourishes the mind, body, soul, and spirit. And so we're going to have a cookbook with stories of betrayed partners. And I'm asking people to share their favorite recipes, appetizers, dessert, entrees. And so it's going to be a fundraiser for the Alliance, but also a way to gift that to a betrayed partner, a way to make a meal out of there and give it to the betrayed partner. If you want to give them the cookbook and a gift card, you can do that too. But I want to make it really easy for people when they say, well, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. I'm going to start providing those resources through the Alliance. So once we get the donation and the website and everything set up, I want people to commit to donating. And so that would be just really helpful in the early stages. And there'll be more to come because I told you I'm not sleeping. I'm like, my mind is just flooded with ideas that I cannot wait to see come to life.
Yeah. And we will put all the relevant links to social media and websites and all that, everything that's ready. We'll have it in the show notes. So if you're listening, don't veer off the road trying to write anything down. It'll be in the show notes so you can get it when you're safe. Andrea, I am just so excited about this vision. You're the perfect person to turn this vision into a reality. thank you for your dedication to this. I'm excited to see what comes of it.
Yeah, and thank you, Jake. I mean, I told you this. I trust you wholeheartedly. I feel um like you get me and all the nuance that is me, and to see you express such emotion when I shared it with you just did something to me. It makes me even more excited. I feel like you're like a parent that's proud of me. That means a lot.
I am. Maybe a brother.
A brother. Okay.
Come on.
Yes. You know what? I have two brothers, but I always wanted more. Yes.
There you go. Well, that'll work. Hey, thank you, Andrea, and let's do it again, okay?
All right. Thanks, Jake.